here with City Administrator Gerald Blackburn, and we are going to interview him about City Hall and how its energy is.
What kind of energy does City Hall use?
We are a total electric facility, and by that, our heat, our air conditioning, and all of the functions within City Hall are electrical, and not gas and not some of the other utilities. Okay.
How much energy does City Hall use?
Well, I just happen to have that written down. We, on a monthly average here at City Hall, we use 74,300 kilowatt hours of power.
What have you already done to conserve energy?
A lot of things that we've done. One of those things that we worked on so carefully whenever the building was being designed was to get the heating of the building and the cooling of the building into different quadrants. In areas where it was used quite often, it sustains pretty well a level temperature in that area. In areas that are not used as frequently, then in the wintertime, it's a cooler temperature in there, and in the summertime it's a higher temperature. So we're fortunate from the fact that we can block off many areas and not use as much energy as otherwise we would.
How much money does it take to power City Hall, and with what you use now?
At the present time, the past year's monthly average of cost of power here at City Hall is $5,912 a month. So that's a lot of money, but it's also a big building. So we wish it was less, but we're counting our blessings that it's no more.
Is it okay for the companies that supply City Hall with energy to talk to us about what they think you could do to conserve more energy?
Well, sure it is. We'd be happy for you to do that, and we would want you to share any findings that you come up with from that with us, and we'll look into every possibility that might increase our efficiency here at City Hall.
Thank you.
What things could you change to conserve that energy?
There's a lot of things that we have looked at and we continue to look at. One of them is windows. Windows is a big issue. Even though we've got windows which has the space in the middle, you know, that helps to warm in the summertime, warm in the wintertime and cool in the summertime. We look at that. We also use the shades that we have, the blinds, to assist in keeping a reasonable temperature within the building. It's also set up to where that certain areas are not heated or not cooled if those areas are not in use. And then whenever we leave at night, while all of our lights are on timers and they go out, or the timer kicks them off, and then they don't come back on until the next morning. And in addition to that, there's an override switch where that you can use it in a room if you're working late, or if there's a meeting in the council room, say, that you can override that switch, and you don't wind up in the middle of a meeting with no lights. But those are some of the things that we feel proud of and we're comfortable with as far as cutting down on it. I also, let me share this with you, is our thermostats. They're a little different than they are in a lot of places because each room has a thermostat, and you can use that thermostat to increase the temperature in your room by 2.5 degrees or to decrease it by 2.5 degrees. That's as far as you can go with it. So it's some people like it a little warmer in their working area, some a little cooler, but we get very, very few complaints that they're not satisfied with the temperature based on what they can do with their own personal thermostat.
This is Annie, and
I'm Alexa.
we're here with Gerald Blackburn. Hi, I'm Annie, and this is
Alexa.
And we're here with Mr. Law with the electric company.
How does electric go from the plant to City Hall?
Well, it starts out at a generating plant, which is either powered by nuclear, or it's powered by coal, or it's a hydro plant, or it's natural gas. Once it is generated, then it is transmitted over long distances by what we call a transmission line. It is the voltage is raised and to a higher voltage, which is easier to transmit over long distances. And then when it gets closer to the city, it goes to what we call a substation, that the voltage is lowered, and then that's what you see that goes on the city streets. And then right outside of City Hall, there'll be a large green box, and that's the transformer that reduces the voltage once again from what's on the street down to a more usable voltage to go into the building. Typically, that voltage is 120 volts that goes into the building. The voltage on city streets, typically, or here in Cumming, it is 12,000 volts. The voltage on the transmission wires that come from the plant to Cumming, in our case, is 110,000 volts. So that's how it gets to City Hall.
What would you change in City Hall to conserve energy?
Well, in that particular kind of building, about all you can change, and I think y'all have already looked at that, is the thermostats, and raise the temperature in the building, or do something with their lighting. And I just happen to have one of our energy efficient bulbs here that puts out the light of a traditional 60-watt bulb, but it only consumes 14 watts of electricity. So then that would be a savings to City Hall too, if they could go to a more efficient lighting system.
How much would it save?
Well, depending on how many of these bulbs that they could actually change, but this particular bulb, you would actually save 56 watts per bulb that they change. So that's a savings of about 68% on this particular bulb. If they could change them all, of course they could save that much, but I kind of doubt you could, because these would not be applicable to every light fixture. Okay.
What are the advantages of electricity?
Well, electricity is easily moved over long distances. It can power a variety of appliances and motors and lighting and all those things. Most of the other energy sources are somewhat limited, like natural gas. It's hard to do lighting with natural gas. You can do heating with natural gas and fuel oil, but it don't work too good for lighting. Electricity, in most cases, can do all of it.
If City Hall produced some of its own electricity by solar or wind, would you buy that extra?
Yes, in most cases we would, and in some cases we do now for other installations. Most of the time, if people generate their own electricity, most of the time, the only time they have any excess is at night, which is typically when the system don't need quite as much electricity at night, because people don't use as much at night. So, and depending on the situation, most of the time we would buy it back at a cheaper rate than what you had to pay for it during the day, because it's more valuable during the day, because that's when everybody wants to use it. But yes, in most cases we would buy back the extra.
Thank you. And I'm Annie, and this is
Alexa.
and we're here with Mr. Law with the electric company.